Hello. Oh, wrong camera. Hello, Internet. Hello. Hello. I might be a little hot on my mic. I'm just going to nudge it down. Hello out there. Hello. Let's make sure we're public. We are. Checking out my stuff here. Good. And I'll just wait for people to show up. That's what I do. That's the thing about these. Hey, money dog, Terratops. How's it going out there, gang? Oh, I totally forgot that's what I wanted to do on this. Whoops. I know. I should be talking to you guys. I just realized I have to do something. There we go. Cool. That worked. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the show. We're all live here now. Greg, IT specialist and bartender. No, that's video tech specialist. But hey, I do a little IT on the side. Let me scroll back up since I feel like I missed some of that. Fancy mouse pad, says someone. No, it's a cutting board. Okay, money dog. Noted. Hello in there, says Terratops. Elite Valor. Yo, Sparrow. Hello. Broke Bros Productions was good. Dynamarques, hello from France. Oh, bonjour. Bonne nuit. Ford Prefect, well, hey there. Sam Underwood, howdy, howdy, howdy. Super Pumpkin Man, afternoon, Jay Scott. Dan, UK. Sir, oh my, from a person in the UK. Well, thank you, Lord Dan. The Celtics, 591753. Howdy, howdy, howdy. Dinamarques, we got a ginger beer tasted episode. Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed that. Thank you. Hello, Brazil, Diego. I don't know how to say hello in Brazil. It's, well, let's see. It's not quite Spanish. Thinker Flips says, yup. Prince Al Horain, greetings from South Africa on his way to a... Never mind. I'm not going to make that joke. I'm sorry. South Africa, I apologize. What coffee equipment are you using? That's a great question. And Matt, thank you for the money. That's right, everybody. We're here for the money. So I brew my coffee at the moment in a Mocha Master that was a gift from a sponsor. Mr. Black gave it to me. I would never be able to afford one on my own. I brew in a Mocha Master. I grind in a Baratza Encore. And my roaster is a local fellow. Hello, Allison Ghani in New Jersey, just like me. And that's my setup. I also have a, and so my wife and I were talking, actually she wants to get away from plastic, so the Mocha Master isn't everybody's favorite. Tell me your troubles, that's what we're here for today. So she wants to get away from the plastic, and so maybe the Mocha Master's on its way out for a while. She wants to get back to Chemex. It's a pain in the ass. I don't love doing the pour over, honestly. I recently had my first vacuum brew, siphon brew, and so I was thinking about getting a siphon brewer because I thought they were pretty autopilot-y, but it turns out if you want to get a good brew out of it, it's really not very autopilot-y, so I don't know. At the moment, we're still drinking from the Mocha Master. Hello to Los Angeles. What's the appropriate greeting in Los Angeles? Chemex, fine for the weekend, but during the week, it's too much time. Yes, that's right. Prince LON, you're from South Africa. Our troubles is the current news headlines of the day. Yeah, well, I guess so. And by troubles, I mean, I'm sorry, whatever. We're not going to get into it. We cannot get a mocha pot. No mocha pot. Ew. Leave. Ew. No mocha. Pour over requires coffee before you brew it. Daiquiri time from the Highlands. The Highlands of where, Callum? I'm turning 21 in July, and your channel's giving me a lot of fun stuff to try. Top of my list is your take on Estes. Thank you so much. Hello from Dominican Republic. Why no mocha pot? I don't know. I just don't like mocha pot coffee. It's a mess. I don't like it. I don't want to clean up after it. I don't like the way it comes out. I get annoyed that people call it espresso. It's not. Happy Thursday, De Flores. Happy Thursday to you. Thank you very much. Okay, well then don't put me onto your troubles. I got a V60 and I get up half an hour early so I can enjoy. Makes a weird daily driver. Which one's the V60? Ah, whatever. Ever made a soda out of pine needles? Hello from Scotland. Is that the kind of thing you just ask people in Scotland? Ever made a soda out of pine needles? No, I haven't. Hit 100 degrees in Arizona. I'd like to come to Arizona. You ever found any decent non-alcoholic gins? No, they're not they're not chemically possible. How are you? I'm all right. I'm all right. How are you? How are you? You are glad to catch a live stream, you lucky duck, and I'm glad you caught it. Irby Gerby Edibles from the Discord of patrons. That's right, everybody. Says, you ever drank Bailey's out of an old shoe? You know what's funny? I never actually watched that growing up. I don't know what channel it was on in the US, but it missed me. So, but I get the reference. I get the reference. I'm not old Greg, though. American here. My little brother is attempting pine beer. Huh, interesting. Have you ever tested any over-the-counter hangover remedies? Are you in my Discord face meet? Because I've been researching an episode. That's what I want to work on. Probably tomorrow, film it. Is like a history of hangover remedies and how they're all bullshit. They're all just bullshit. What drink do you recommend for someone who's trying to get into more spirit-forward drinks? Ooh, that's a tough one, actually. I wonder about that. That's wanting to get into, which means you're not there yet. So, right? Like, that's what I'm reading that as. Like, right now, spirit forward is a little too heavy for you. Gee, oh, man. Maybe like a really, really classic martini. Maybe that. Maybe something that's like, 3-2 or 1-2 ratio or something like that. You're going to Monterey. You're going to need hangover remedies. They don't work. That's the whole point. Hey, bud, sending love from Brazil. Oh, Drew Cox, thank you so much from Brazil. How do I say hello in Brazil? It's ciao, right? That's goodbye. Well, ciao might be hello and goodbye. Been a while since the last stream you caught. Not sure if you remember me or not, but I'm the guy who had 2 liters of fluid drained from a pseudocyst years ago. I don't know if I remember that. But that's a hell of a story. You ever done a blackberry smash? Maybe not on the show. I feel like I have. I have some blackberries, but I would have to leave the bar to get them, and I don't want to. Hello from Turkey. Wow. Liquid IV before bed is the only thing I can recommend. Yeah, but like studies prove that doesn't really work either. Basically, all of your hangover remedies are obrigado. Is that how you say hello in Brazil / Portugal? Because I assume you guys both speak the same kind of Portuguese, roughly. Single malt old fashioned. Sure, if you like it. I don't have thoughts on it. You ever have any thoughts on that? Like, sure. I can't wax poetic. Who loves the puppet from the last episode? Steve Skudefan. Well, thank you so much. Sometimes people ask me that. You have any thoughts on this? I'm like, I can't wax poetic on that cocktail. No, I'm sorry. Ever had an Irish cream milkshake? I don't think so. Water and aspirin. Actually, they say ibuprofen probably works better than aspirin, but whatever. I always thought the best hangover remedy was hydrating. I mean, it's not going to hurt you. I mean, yeah, like time. Honestly, time is all you need, and to manage things a little better. You ever going to do a chain restaurant? They all went out of business. I would love to do that because just funny, I was writing up like a list of episodes and one of the, just like top of mind ideas, like, you just throw everything on the page. You can't get rid of fusel alcohol, so you have to see, but that is not fusel alcohol. So many myths about what causes a hangover. Actually, they don't even know. And it really probably doesn't have too much to do with the kind of alcohol you drink. I've seen a lot of, quote, experts citing nothing. Citing anecdotes and personal experiences. Never had a macadamia. How do I make a macadamia? I'm going to try to follow it if the chat's really fast. Most cocktails I've tried are sweet, happy drinks, but sometimes I like a dark, strong sombre. Is there anything like that? Oh. Dark, strong, and somber. I mean, somber. That one's throwing me there. How about a Boulevardier? Boulevardier, which is a bourbon version of a Negroni. That's, I think. Or Left Hand, another version of that. Something with some chocolate in there. Left Hand has chocolate bitters, so I like that. I always thought dehydration. So, yeah, I mean, like, they always thought it was dehydration. That's a part of it for the hangover, but the truth is that, like, there's a lot of things that go with that. Well, Paul Newman, welcome back from the dead. I think you died. Why don't I grab... Why don't I grab my stool? And I'll sit down, too. How's it going out there? How's it going? Is this fun? Do we like this? I like this. It's a little overly exposed. I should probably notch it down just a touch. Unfortunately, I can't read that on my tiny thing. Greg from Mobile, Alabama. Been watching you since 2012. Oh my God, thank you, the lazy Skyrimist. Ever since your collab with Brennan, I wondered about more virgin drinks. You already have a plethora of eggnog recipes, but none that are alcohol-free. Alcohol-free eggnog makes me uncomfortable, actually. I'm not sure it's even safe. I guess it is safe. I don't know what I would replace the alcohol with, though. Like, an eggnog recipe, the way I make eggnog, is alcohol, but I suppose I'm making more of a flip, usually. Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question. Should I... No, the exposure looks all right. Is this like a non-flattering like framing? I worry that it is. I worry that this is unflattering. I have to do this. When I sit down, I have to... You don't know what I'm doing. The alcohol and aging is what makes it safe when you use raw eggs. The alcohol and aging? No, no, no. That's not what makes it safe. What makes it safe is that eggs are safe. You can, but pasteurized eggs, nope. Non-alcohol, no. The alcohol is not enough in a mixed drink to kill really anything, not even in my opinion, as far as I've read, like research-wise. The reason that, yeah, I mean, like the risk, okay, so I don't think that aging, I can't verify this, I don't have a fucking longitudinal study, I don't think aging your eggnog makes it safer, although I suppose it would reveal a problem to you because you would see, holy shit, this is infected eggnog and you're not going to have it. I think that, and I don't think that there's enough alcohol in it to kill anything either. From what I understand, the reason raw eggs are generally safe is because of the things that have to happen for you to get salmonella from a raw egg. Not to say that you couldn't get something else. The first thing that has to happen is that your chicken's got to be sick. You have to have a sick chicken. The second thing that has to happen is that the egg has to be old. So a sick chicken can lay an egg that's infected with salmonella. However, because of biology, the only part of that egg that can be host to your salmonella bacterioses is the white of the egg. The white of the egg has like none of the nutrients that the salmonella need to live. So a few cells of salmonella may live in there, but they're not going to reproduce, and not to the degree that you would get sick from them. However, as an egg ages, the membrane that separates yolk from white becomes more permeable, and then there's a chance that your bacterias can get into the egg yolk where they will rapidly reproduce and go crazy. And then you will get salmonella. But that's just what I've read. And I'm not a doctor, so take that with a grain of salt. I'm very careful about this. This is something I actually am thinking about somehow working into an episode of How to Drink. I oftentimes, and I was just talking about this in my Discord, which we're going to come to in a minute. We have to plug the Discord, of course. I oftentimes, where's my mouse? Damn it. There it is. I oftentimes, only 286 people watching, that's okay, will say on the show something like, oh, I don't know how that works, or I don't know that that's true, or I don't know blah, blah, blah. And sometimes it's because I don't know. And sometimes I know, but I don't know enough. And like, I feel like I might have a different definition of I don't know than you, because I will say I have heard that this is true. Or I will say, in my opinion, I think it's this. Or in my observation, it's this, right? I'm very careful about the way I parse language. And basically, what I'm saying when I say I don't know that this is true is I'm not going to bother to put a citation here and present you with the study that I read a year and a half ago and filed away in my brain that says this is true. So I'm really careful about making statements, and this is a little pedantic of me, but I want to teach you to be careful about hearing statements. Because that's how it works, man. Like if somebody says something definitively that it's a large claim, a medium claim, you should check. You should find out where did they learn that? What's their reference point? Oh, it's vibes, generally speaking. Okay, fine. Oh, you didn't see a study. You didn't even see an article based on a study. You didn't see an article that cited a study or two? Nothing. Oh boy. I disagree, OG Brick 420. I disagree on that because I've had many a canna cocktail since making my canna extract, and it hits plenty fast. It's very fast. I would say it's instant, but your body takes a minute to catch up. And it drives me crazy. Like people say, people will show up in my comments when I say I don't know to educate me with their statement. And every single time I restrain myself, I want to be like, please cite something, please cite something. Because when I said I didn't know I was lying, I was just lazy. I didn't feel like proving I knew. That's a great thing to say, Trev. Trust they're telling you what they think is true, but verify it before you act on it. Yeah, man. Yeah. That's how you get moral panics. It drives me crazy. I mentioned owning a V60. Is the V60 what? I don't think I own a V60, unless that's like the technical name. 2.5 milligrams THC is enough to put me into orbit, Jay Scott. Hey, Greg, I'm an Aussie bartender with a question for you. Have you tried Bilson's? Oh, I have no idea. No, I've never heard of that. I wonder if I can get here. And by the way, Jimmy Mac, thank you for the bucks. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. So people don't like being wrong, man. Yeah, I know. My grandma always said, trust but verify. So did Reagan. Not that I'm a fan. It's just, that's the guy who's famous for saying that. So, which a lot of people think is like an oxymoron. Like, well, that's not trust. Trust is trust. How do you get the correct answer on the internet? Post an incorrect one. That's funny. That's funny. Are there cities or places that have a good cocktail mixology scene that surprised you? No, I don't get around that much, so I wouldn't know. Is that a helmet? Oh, back there? Is that in the camera? Yeah, it's like a silly prop helmet that we bought for an episode. So let me go get something here. Hold on, I'll show you something. Because I'm still working on the THC episode. That is my extract of a cannabis plant, a flower. And that is record keeping. My initial math said it was 12.3 milligrams per milliliter. That was wrong, and I'm really glad I took it to a professional lab and had it tested, because it is 16.38 milligrams per milliliter, and that would, being that wrong, would fucking murder me. And I've had many drinks made with this so far. It is, I don't think I'm ever going back to edibles, because it is super duper fast, like dude, instant. And you can, in that way, like, you know, with edibles I'd have like a third, because I'm a lightweight. And no, this is not from the RSO. The RSO I actually haven't tested yet, because I've been liking this one so much, but that's at 4.5 milligrams per milliliter. I think I'd have the bottle over there, but this is the one I actually made myself. It makes my wife a little paranoid, so I'm looking into some research on that, and I have some more experiments to do there, and I can talk about that in a minute. But anyway, yeah, I mean, I don't know how instant is instant, to be perfectly blunt, but like within 15 minutes, I'm feeling pretty much the full effects. What's nice about that is that, like, with an edible, I'll have a third, and that's like 3.3 milligrams of a 10 milligram edible, and that's like it for the night, and it'll kick in like, you know, potency in like in 90 minutes or whatever, and then I'm going wherever it's going. But with the canna cocktails, or the green, we call them the green beverages, I can have like a half a milligram and like in a drink, and have another drink, and have like a 1.5 milligram drink, and like kind of step my way up there. So I'm really into that, and it's much more enjoyable for me personally. The reason I talk about the paranoia thing, the anxiety thing, first off, apparently that affects women more than men, and they think it might be tied to estrogen. And secondly, I just saw a legit study that I actually trust, and it might have even been 2 studies, that says, no, they don't have alcohol, not legally speaking. This has alcohol in it, but anything with less than 0.5% alcohol is non-alcoholic. And when I say less than 0.5%, I will add 100 microliters of this to a 6-ounce drink. So, I mean, like, it's non-alcoholic. It's like as alcoholic as bread. So I would call them, they're non-alcoholic. Would I say that they are alcohol-free for people who really, really care about that? No. But the whole reason I made it is because I wanted to be able to have cocktails that didn't have alcohol, that did have THC. Because I don't love the way I feel when I drink, to be honest. It's my job. Eat before or after? I don't. Do whatever you want, man. You can get way more into this. You're thinking too hard. It works. That's all you need to know. It will work, Eric, but you have no idea how strong it's going to be, so be really careful. Dingus, exactly like adding bitters to a seltzer type beat. Yep, 100%. So I vastly prefer this, and sorry, I lost my train of thought there. Oh, the paranoia thing. Yeah, apparently it affects women more than men, the anxiety, and they don't know exactly why, but they think it might be tied to estrogen. But there was a thing. So terpenes. Terpenes are a thing that like hardcore weed heads get into, and I think it's a little bit silly because when you look at terpene contents in plant, in flower, it's like trace elements. And then some people say, well, this terpene versus that terpene makes me feel a different way. I should look into the math more on that, but like, I don't know. I'm a little suspicious of that. Some people think that D-limonene, which is the terpene that is in the peels of lemons and oranges and basically every citrus, increases anxiety. And maybe in the trace amounts that it shows up naturally, it does. However, I saw a really solid study that said if you have like a 1-to-2 ratio, which is a lot, of D-limonene to THC, it dramatically reduces the effects of anxiety. And I haven't tested that with the person I know who gets anxiety, and that would be a terrible test, by the way, not a study. That would just be like, anecdotally, this worked one time. So, but that's really interesting to me. And terpenes are in essential oils, right? So Dan, like an essential oil is an oil made from the essence of a thing. And it should be, like I use essential oils all the time in soft drink development, and also like in my cinnamon syrup and stuff like that. And the terpenes for effect, BS, terpenes for flavor. Yeah, absolutely. They're very powerful flavors. The reason you don't put them into like soft drinks is because they're, my first time I took an edible had about 100 milligrams. Oh, yeah, that'd be horrible, man. I would be out of this dimension. I don't believe you, OG Brick. And when I say that, I don't mean that I don't believe that that's your experience. What I mean is I'm not taking that as fact because you don't have a study to back it up. And I don't care about anecdotes, and I'm not going to be nice about that. Unless it's presented as an anecdote. I don't know what slain is. What I will say is, and I know this from going to the lab that I had to do the testing on this, canned cannabis cocktails are terrible, the ones that come in cans, and it's because the plastic lining of the can, I know this sucks, but cans are lined. You have studies? I'd like a show called Hash Church every Sunday on YouTube. That's not a study. I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, I'd like to see studies. Anyway, I don't even know how you would study that, by the way. Like, it's so hard to design a study that accounts for people's subjective experience. That's hard. You know what I mean? Like, how do you even design that study? That's one of the reasons why I can safely tell you that hangover cures are bullshit. Because you couldn't even design a study. What do you mean by utilize essential oils, Frostfire? I don't know what you mean by that. Because there are people who are in cults that utilize essential oils. unless you're doing like food development or just like trying to make perfumes, like there's no way to utilize essential oils. Yeah, so I mean, Caitlin, right? So sorry. I suppose what they were telling me is that if it's been like canned in the last, thank you very much, Sam Brooks. I really appreciate that. If it has been canned in the last month, it might have a lot of potency, right? Yeah, there is a higher usage rate for Frostfire, but that's because women are more susceptible to multi-level marketing schemes than men. That's just a fact. And most of your Oilers are in an MLM. So anyway, sorry. I don't know why, I'm being really candid today. So if it's been in the can for a while, the plastic lining will absorb the THC over time and reduce its potency. So like a 3 milligram drink might, by the time you drink it, be like a 1/4 milligram or something like that. So so like that's an issue for them. It's funny that I just saw, sorry, Eyes of Sin mentioning so-called hard science folks should read more into social scientific methods because it's possible to design studies around subjective variables and experiences. It is possible, Duke, but it is hard. And I'm 100 times more skeptical of studies that are trying to measure the subjective than I am of ones that can measure, the physical, I guess. I'd already shot all the footage for it, Arnold Hill. I have a whole ton of footage on it, and the only 2 reasons I haven't finished this episode yet is because, in fact, we did some of it live. The only reason I haven't finished this episode yet is for 2 reasons. One, I actually need to have time to sit down with that footage and look at what I have and figure out how I'm going to patch it together with the last part of the shooting, which is going to be making a few drinks and showing my results, because a lot of things didn't really work out the way I expected to. Oh, and emulsification, yeah, that makes sense. If you're doing anything shelf stable, dualist confirmed. I don't know what that means. If you're doing something that's supposed to be shelf stable, emulsifying your THC makes a ton of sense. This is only applicable for point of service. Like, you can only use this if you're making the drink right now, but it works great for that. And yeah, I did the extract myself. And that's the way to do it, in my opinion. So, but yeah, I guess you're right. For a shelf-stable cannabis cocktail, you definitely need it to be inside of some kind of an emulsion because it's oil, blah, blah, not thing. It's called phenomenology. Who are some of my favorite artists? Oh, I don't know. That's a good question. You mean like now, or do you mean like when I was a child? Why is my mouse not behaving in the way I would expect it to? I should be able to get it over there. It makes my life very hard. I should have a drink, right? The mind is immaterial and distinct from physical phenomena. Oh, I'm definitely not into dualism, no. I'm hardcore anti-dualist. That is not me at all. Not a dualist. Any opinions on psychedelics? I don't touch them because my life is psychedelic enough. I think there's nothing more insufferable. Never mind. Than the way people talk about their psychedelics. Just really working on some enemies. I got to show you guys something on my phone here in a second. Oh, weird. A guy just texted me that I haven't heard from in 10 billion years. Holy shit. You have a makunaima. I don't know how to pronounce that. Drug scheduling limits research. Absolutely. Why can't my mouse do... It's supposed to go over to that monitor. I have lost access to the monitors with my with my chat, which is making my life hell. Hold on, I got a visitor. Do we have a visitor?
Not yet, like 6:15. So I ordered 2 sushi trays.
Sushi trays.
And like 2 little Chinese food things.
Okay.
She said, I was like, did you guys eat? She said, no, not yet.
Okay, don't put any of that on this freezer. Thank you. Sorry, it was my Mrs. What is a makunaima? Gambling arcade machines. I hate gambling. I don't think we have that in the US, but we might. And actually, it's really interesting to me that like I get so much shit for taking 1 or 2 sponsorships that turned out to be not the best sponsor, but like you got very famous people advertising for fucking FanDuel and DraftKings on TV, and nobody comes trying for them with the pitchforks, and it pisses me off. What would you name a drink using Appleton Estate rum, lime juice, and pineapple? Hold on, I got to figure out why I can't get to my. This is insane. Oh shit! Now I've really lost everything. Oh, okay, we made it over. We made it over. We finally. Oh wow! I've left myself with just like the tiniest little window for my mouse to slip through. Thank you, Arnold Hill, so much. I really appreciate that. I just want to make sure that I haven't missed any super chats. Those are important. Oh yeah, I think I missed some. Aussie Bartender, Mobile Al. Yes, saw that. Yes, saw that. It does seem you can get Bilson's and Isabella's in the U.S. Okay. Don't send it to me. I have contacts. I can probably get some. How would you describe Bilson's? I'm super interested now. Brainwashed MLM girlies trying to sell Greg some essential. I think it's a shame that people prey on people for that stuff. It sucks. People get deep into an MLM and like will ruin themselves. And it is exactly the same impulse as gambling, by the way, because you are spending the 3. I just realized this: gambling, fishing, and MLMs. The same thing. The same thing. If you get into fishing, like out in the ocean, it is so expensive, and you're just yoinking on that slot machine stick, hoping for a tuna. Every time you go out there, burning thousands of dollars of gasoline on all of your extremely expensive equipment, it will ruin you. MLMs are the same. You're dumping money and stuff into, hopefully making it big on the MLM. You won't, and they're going to win. The house is going to win. It is gambling. But yeah, I can't believe, like, I just listened to a thing on the radio, because I'm a public radio jerk, about what are my opinions on buzzballs. They're bad. How do I choose which sponsors to accept and deny? Cyan, thank you so much for asking. That is going to be the question of the day. I've just decided. Let me find myself a beverage to lean over the drink with. Why? To do that, why don't we do something? I want to show you something I'm working on for the app. It's only in the testing phase yet. Let's take, I hope this is one of the coolest things you'll ever see. Some lemons, limes, okay, some Saint Germain. Let's take this maraschino. Name a base spirit for me, guys. What do you guys want me to use? Little Ango. I'll throw my cinnamon syrup in there. That's a curveball. That one might not work. We can put some simple in there too. Cognac. Sure, that's the first one I saw. If I find a bottle of cognac back here, we'll do that. Well, would you look at that? I found a bottle of cognac. All right, check this shit out. I hope this is cool. I hope this does exactly what I expect it to do, and I look like an awesome fella. Let's bring the pip in. Oh, pip in. And then I need to switch my pip source, which I just realized I'm probably... what is that source? Where's my overhead? It's source 1? Okay, cool, that worked. Hello. Hello. Hi, everybody. Okay. Let me step out of here so you can't see this. And unfortunately, yes, this will be upside down. I don't have the ability to correct for that. So this is the testing server for my How to Drink app, which, by the way, you can get access to using either the link in the description or at htdapp.com or at my Patreon, because it's a feature for my patrons. Kicks in at the $5 a month thing. I gotta say, guys, Patreon makes the show go round. The only reason I can do stuff like this is because of Patreon. Like, without Patreon, I have to chase the hits exclusively and pull my hair out. And now that I'm the Patreon, now that the app and all that stuff, I can make content that like real people actually want to see instead of me just like backing my head against the wall. So, okay, here we go. Check this out. You see this? This isn't on the public part of this app yet. I'm hoping to get it out by the end of next week. And even then, it will be in public testing because I need to make sure it scales, because I don't know if I can actually run this for everybody. But for right now, check this shit out. Can you see my phone? No? All right, watch. I'm gonna just take a picture. And then you can see the picture. And I'm gonna hit use photo. Let's put this into focus. Oh, look at that. With Saint Germain, cognac, Luxardo Maraschino, and citrus, lime, and lemon, you can make some classic cocktails like a French 75 or the Last Word, which is interesting. I suppose that's a stretch. But it's pretty cool, right? It's fucking awesome. And so I'm still fine-tuning it. It's not ready yet, but it's getting there. It's getting there. I'm hoping by the end of the week. And this is the only way I've ever wanted a cocktail app to work. For years, I never built one because it was like, I just can't put it together. Only recently can I do that. And I'm so happy with it. It's so cool. I hate most cocktail apps because of the difficulty of like, a lot of them, you know, you got to put in what bottles you have. I have 500 friggin' bottles. AI reads the photo and tells you what recipes you can make with that. Okay. So yes, that's what it is. So, but there's a little bit more to it than that, to be blunt. What I want to do with it, but I hate having to maintain a catalog of bottles and know which bottles are gone or out, so on and stuff like that. Helix approved. But with this, I can finally give you a way to inventory your booze cabinet. First off, like we can just do that. You could just be like, oh, I bought a bottle of this, I bought a bottle of that, and just have pictures, and it will add it to your cabinet. Okay? Or you can just take a picture of a bunch of ingredients and be like, what can I make with this? And it'll show you in the app what you can make, which is, I think, really fun. I'm really liking that. It is fully conversational, so you can be like, oh, I also have a bottle of this, and it'll add to that. I think what I want it to do is like have your liquor cabinet, and you'll be able to just say, we ran out of that. We can't make that drink. Oh, no problem. Use the bottle detection to get what's available, and then use the filter. Right, exactly. It's not that hard. Do I plan to add this to the App Store? No, I do not. This is a benefit from the patrons of How to Drink on my Patreon, and it is, it's going to stay that way. It would be, like, I think a lot of people are signing up. We've had a lot of people sign up for my Patreon as a result of this, and it would be shitty to, like, pull that away, so I don't want to take that away. I am working on another app slowly that will be like in the App Store I'm building it web-based first, and then we'll do a native iPhone version, and then maybe someday down the road we'll do it for Google. Thank you, Alex Alder. So I'm telling you right now, I hope to have that in testing for patrons by like the end of next week. I don't think that's outrageously unreasonable. And I want to get it in there sooner rather than later to make sure we can actually do it and fine tune it and stuff like that, because there are some hiccups there where like this may just not work at scale. So if you're signing up to go play with that right now, don't. It's not there, but it will be by the end of next week, and I appreciate it if you do sign up. It is, like I said, the engine for the show. I can't juggle. I don't know why I suddenly thought I could. I can't. Can I? No, I can't. I've never juggled a day in my life, but wouldn't it be neat if all of a sudden I could juggle? Yeah, do sign up. I'm just saying, don't sign up expecting to have the camera button on your app and be angry at me. You actually have a much more refined app than that, because the data set is way better on the public side of the server. Probably the reason a lot of drinks didn't come up there is because that's the testing data set, and it sucks. It's a mess. There's all kinds of fake drinks in there. It's just there for me to test stuff. Greg has big guys who know how to juggle energy. Even I get fooled by it, Dr. Death Defy. But like, yeah, let's do a last word, but with cognac. Why not? And Saint Germain? I guess I could make a last word with this. I kind of want to get a little chartreuse in there, though. Yeah. Is this green or yellow? I think that's green. Sure, let's do this drink. Some of us have been... Okay, Zach the Skeleton. Why is this happening? So, this is a common thing. I got to make a FAQ. I just got the code base up onto GitHub, and there is now a feature request form and a bug form and all that stuff, and now I can get the whole FAQ and everything together. I'm going to bet if you're getting a 500 error that this is what you're doing. You are on a phone, and you're trying to access the app, which is in your browser, and you have Patreon installed on your phone as an app, and when it said open the app to verify, you said yes, and now it's not going to give you an option not to. Well, the problem with that is apps and browsers can't pass cookies between each other, and so the minute you authenticate through the app can't hand that authentication back off to the web app, right? So unfortunately, the solution for one time only, you just have to delete the Patreon app off of your phone, then authenticate into the HTD app, and then you can reinstall the Patreon app. What I have to do, and I thought I had it in there, but it's actually pretty hard to test because like it's a unique login every time. I need to put like some kind of a restriction in there so that it will not, I thought I had it, I guess I don't. So it will never authenticate through the app. Did you work in tech at all? No, I didn't. I mean, I do now. So yeah, that's the problem, and it sucks, and it's stupid. If it was a native iPhone app, I don't think we would have that problem, but I've never done anything with a native iPhone app, so I don't really know. Any tips on bartending? No. I'm not like a good bartender. I'm a YouTube bartender. I think I got to catch up on... Oh, Weird Man says, you've been my background noise for a month. Thank you, Canada, Weird Man. Thank you very much. I hope to be the entire universe's background noise for all of the months. Let's see here. Can we just fire this guy up? Yeah, that'll be good. Load it. Yes. And run it. So, and then we'll switch to camera. Which one is that? 4? I don't have a source for 4 button. That sucks. I gotta, oh shit, that could have fucked up everything. I have a companion running. You guys don't know what that is. Long story short, I have a control scheme running here that is currently half broken, which is annoying. And unfortunately, there's not a lot I can do about that. Pip in, and I want source 4. There we go. All right, let's make a drink. We're gonna try to make a last word variation. Why not? I don't know if I really want a last word variation, but I'll make one. For funsies, let's do a split of lemon and lime. Everything is sticky. Oh my God, Steph Goodafan. I'm a member on Patreon. I was surprised when I first learned how cheap the tiers were. I subscribed to the highest one, but I'm curious how many people other than me would be willing to give more. Cheap? I thought we were hosing people. What do people expect a Patreon to cost? I hate raising prices. I mean, thank you. And by the way, thank you. The big fucking dog there. Steph's Goodafan. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I have to put that spice on there. So we'll do a ½ ounce of lemon and a ½ ounce of lime. I think we actually limited access to the $20 level of Patreon. I think that we've capped it to 100 members because it's tied to sending these pins, and the pins have become like too expensive to send. So like we're having problems with that. So we don't want to have any, we're going to keep that to 100 people. It's actually not making the pins is expensive. It's the shipping of the pins. They're like stupid expensive to ship, which is insane. They cost more to ship than to make. So 1 ounce of lemon lime. Let's do 1 ounce of this cognac. Non-pin tier is 10. I mean, you get the app at 5. I think we have a $2 tier, a $5 tier, a $10 tier, and a $20 tier. Is that due to tariffs? No. It's always been that way, and it's been a struggle. And like every month, Meredith has like been, well, every time we ship pins, Meredith's like, Greg, what are we doing with these pins? I'm gonna do a whole ounce of chartreuse. What we've come to is we've decided to do the pins. I think we're doing more pins, but not quarterly, but like you'll just get a big box of pins once a year, which I know sucks, but I don't know what else we can do, honestly. I'm gonna do ½ an ounce of maraschino. And oh, I did have to make it German. Good is another channel's username. He got his from his WoW days. That's so fun. Right, you've told me that story and I forgot. And then I'm gonna do a half an ounce of this Saint Germain. I opened this bottle for the first time in years the other day, and the plastic cap exploded, like crumbled to dust in my hand, and I haven't gotten a new cork for it. So we're splitting the maraschino with Saint Germain. More than that, Saint Germain is going to be a lot of Saint Germain. Let's get some ice. Do I have a glass for this? Yeah. Make something with coffee, Sazerac style. Boy, you guys have some interesting ideas today. We should talk about what the episodes are that I'm working on. What can you do with port? Anything you can do with wine, but with port, honestly. I love, like, why not use port in a sweeter version of a New York sour? My brain is A to seeing reality, and I just, in my head, like was like, and now I have to pour the drink into the jigger. Let's not do that. Hello from Malaysia. I love your show. Oh, man. Thank you. Doubt there's many of us here, but sending some love. I appreciate that. Is your opinion on Empress 1908 a good gin? I don't know that I've had it. I can't stay abreast of these things. There's too many products. I wish... I mean, I don't know if my body could take staying abreast of these things. I'm not going to lie. He said that domestic, large-scale production beer tastes like bread. Maybe bread is the wrong term, but like, yeah, just kind of bready. Here we go. This is a drink we don't have a name for yet. Ooh. Oh, that's weird. It's got a much... Oh, what a twist. Oh, my God. Well, first off, it's balanced. Just nice. What a long evolution this has. It has such a nutty out note. It's got to be the combination of the cognac and the Saint Germain. I would not expect that. Saint Germain to me, and it might be too that my Saint Germain is 1,000 years old and it has transmogrified into some other flavor. I really like that drink. I want to sit down. I'm going to sit down with this. We're going to sit. We're going to sitting and chatting. That's the new thing I'm doing on the show here. Hey guys. Hey guys. I'm just down here hanging out with you. Here we are. It has a warmth and a tartness to it. It is nutty. It is sweet. It has, I'm not picking up on a floral quality, to be honest, which usually you get from Saint Germain, but I am getting a lot of herbal, woodsy, not bitter notes at all, but like sweet, nutty notes. That's cool. Oh yeah, no. There's your elderflower in there, sure. I like that a lot. I like that a lot. There are multiple copies of the How to Drink app. Often multiple copies of drinks. Oh, often, yes, actually. I should put that into my my progress thing. We could talk about that. I don't know why. I keep bailing on my sit camera. Whoops. I felt like sitting down would be cozy, but it doesn't feel that cozy for some reason. So it's good for other stuff. But okay, let me answer that super chat. You've described things like bourbon and urn brew as having bubblegum notes. Do you know what Tutti Frutti is? If you've never had bubblegum, I mean, Tutti Frutti is the flavor of bubblegum, and it's a made-up fake flavor that some pharmacist invented in the 1800s or early 1900s. It tastes like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, bubblegum is banana, cherry, and low acidity orange. Yeah, I mean, it's like a lot of everything. So if you look up recipes for how to make Tutti Frutti, like that'd be pretty close. But like pineapple's usually in there, they say. There's a lot of different things in there. I don't know that, oh God. That just went sideways on me. Yeah. I'm getting a little verklempt over here. Oh, he refuses to call it iron brew. Yeah, you have, because when I have to like IRN, I have to catch myself every time I see that to not pronounce it earn. It's IRN. I'm not great at the moment, Raven. Oh, man. 3, okay. Wait, what? 3 ounces of Appleton, an ounce and a half of lime juice, pineapple juice. So, like, what is that? Like 3/4 of each. Half an ounce of simple ginger ango. It sounds nice. It sounds like a very nice. I'm going to call that a variation on. I don't know. Is that a suffering? Is that more suffering bastard than? I would call that a variation on dark and stormy. It sounds tasty. You know. Dark and fruity. Yeah, yeah. An overripe pineapple. Oh my God. One time in film school, I referred to something as being banal. I said, yeah, I think that's pretty banal, or whatever it was that I said. I was on set for a student film, and this very fancy boy who thought he was a very fancy cinematographer was much celebrated, very good at self-promotion. He's a cool guy, but whatever. On that particular day, he decided to be a dick and sniggered and made fun of me and laughed in my face because he was like, banal? What word is that? Banal? And I was like, explaining. And he's like, do you mean banal? Oh my God, you mean banal. Oh. It was a moment where I felt small. I didn't love that. And then I found out years later that banal is a perfectly acceptable pronunciation that is in the dictionary. It's Leviosa, not Leviosa. Yeah, I know that, Raven, except that's a magic spell. So, you know. Halifax hates the way you pronounce banal. Oh, I don't know what that is. Yeah, actual worst, Oscar, for real. Guys, I'm dying here. Hold on a second. I gotta get a glass of seltzer. Woo! That really just stuck in my craw. Ah. Oh boy. Oh my God. I had someone in Florida try to ID me, Steph, for buying ginger beer. And I kept trying to explain it's not alcohol. I mean, like, here's my ID, but it's not alcoholic. I don't care what you think. I need an ID. I was like, fine. Hey, Greg, I don't drink anymore, but I still watch and love your show. Thank you so much, Matthew, by the way. So glad that you have found you through the algorithm. Oh, thank you so much. I have a kegerator, and I make seltzer in 5-gallon kegs. Earharts. I think that, I stand by what I say. I think that the Drinkmate is the best, mine's filthy right now, countertop carbonator that you can get for the money. But for the amount of seltzer I go through, and because I had to buy the kegerator anyway for an episode, I make cards of, I make 5 gallons of seltzer at a time, and it's fantastic. It's wonderful. It's like one of the best upgrades I've made to my life. Oh, Christ, man. I think I'm coming around. I think I'm coming out of it now. Someone hit me an idea for a Sazerac, a coffee Sazerac. I'm going to sneeze now. I'm off camera sneezing. Excuse me. Okay, I have a bottle here just for that. Bingo. We need this. We need a little absinthe. Ay, 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 ay. Where's that bottle of absinthe? I should have one right in front of my face. Is that one? Nope. It's dark back here, guys. It's a little hard to find things. Oh, Christ. That. That'll work. That's absinthe. Okay. This light keeps falling over, comedically. But that's because I took away its good mount and I gave it a cheap mount to use the good mount somewhere else. All right. We're going to need a little simple. We need a lemon. Lemon will go great here. I think. So what I discovered, by the way, is that coffee and chartreuse go together super, super well. Gesundheit, mein Freund. And so I don't know if I want to go with the bitters I would normally go with for this coffee-based Sazerac. The other thing is, what's the proof on this? We might need some extra. Yeah, so this is only 25%. So we're a ways off from actual Sazerac potency. So what do we do about that? Well, I think actually what we're going to do is rye. I think we're going to get some rye. Is that what we're going to do? Or should we like really try to divorce this from its origins? Like, what is the essential elements of a Sazerac? In my opinion, it's the absinthe notes and the lemon twist and the Peychaud bitters. That's what makes Peychaud's a little more bitter than Angostura. That is what makes a Sazerac, in my opinion. The rye is less important, but we could have rye on hand. Christ almighty. Where's a bottle of rye? Everything is a little disorganized, more so than usual at the moment because of the I mixed every bottle in my bar episode. So my rye is a little hard to find. Huh. Yeah, I might have to just go with the rye I just looked at because it's the rye I just looked at. It's not the one I want to use. That's all right. Somebody was asking me what is my criteria for taking a sponsorship. I love that question. I don't get to answer that question nearly enough. Oh, there it is. There's the rye I want. And so I would be thrilled to answer that question right now. For fuck's sake, dude. We'll do a split base, a rinse. I feel like I'm not going far enough here. I feel like doing a split base is hardly enough to call this a new cocktail. You know what I mean? I feel like we need to go a little. We need to really kind of reinvent this thing to make it a coffeeac, a Sazerac, a Dumont. It's got to be called a Dumont for sure. And I'll let the New Orleans folk explain why. Now it's got to go with a side of beignets. Oh man, geez, that really makes me think it really does need rye. All right. Chocolate. Do I have any chocolate bitters on hand? I should have some around here somewhere. I don't see the ones I like. Beehive, tonic, chocolate bitters, where are chocolate bitters? I need my chocolate bitters. Fuckity-doo. I need a little bit of chocolate in the drinky-dinky-doo, dinky-doo, dinky-doo. Fuck-do. Angostura orange, Angostura aromatic. Christ, man, this sucks. Oh, wait. I think that's it. Bingo. Perfect. All right. I think we got something now. So let's do our absinthe rinse. Oh, you guys probably want to have that in. It's funny, it keeps switching out to the wrong one. We can do this one on overhead. Do the absinthe rinse. Get an ice cube. Oh wait, you don't do this with an ice cube. It's a Sazerac stoop. Yeah, that's clean. Let's hit that with a few dashes of chocolate bitters, a few dashes of Peychaud's. Let's hit that with, actually I'm going to do a, yeah, this is a weaker simple for some reason. I don't know. I was pretty drunk when I made it. I had friends over and I needed some simple, and I think I did something wrong. So I'm going to use a half an ounce of that. One of the rare nights when me and my buddies, some old friends we hadn't seen, and we were on kind of a bender. It's been like, literally, when you get older, camera's blurry, this guy. Oh, it is real blurry. How's that? When you get older, you'll be like, oh, I haven't seen them in 7 years. We should check in with that. Let's do a half an ounce of rye. I don't have an orange handy, but I think this would be better with an orange. Half an ounce of, specifically, St. George Nola coffee liqueur. It has coffee and chicory in it. It is just Rittenhouse, yeah. How old was I when I started drinking? This may shock you to learn this, but I was probably 20 years old. Have you ever tried salamiakki? I don't think I've ever heard of it. Hey man, that's not bad. Oh. I know that's probably not as cool a shot as from the side, but whatever. This one's more fresh. And that is what I'm going to call a demande. I got to say, I really like that. I think I went a little bit heavy on the Peychaud's, but I really like that drink. That is phenomenal. Thank you for the inspiration, whoever came up with that. The chocolate lemon coffee thing giving way to absinthe is phenomenal. I really like that. Have I ever tried Campari and egg white? I'm sure I have, but I can't think of one right now. This is, let me put it this way, I'd be surprised if I haven't. Yeah, absinthe and coffee is a great combo. You're absolutely right. That's why Pousse Café works. God, that is good stuff. Let's have a chat. So somebody was asking me before, how do you decide which sponsorships to take? And it's a great question. And I don't know if other YouTubers are going to be as candid about this. I really wish they would. Or rather, I should say, I don't know what they do. I don't know what their rules are. But as I do 10 things at once, I have to do this, change the scale of the chat so I can see it on the tiny teleprompter. So I don't know what other... What would you name the drink that I made using Appleton State? Sorry, I can't answer that question right now. It's hurting my... I don't know. Call it a tally man. I like that. So, all right. What... So here's what I do. First things first, obviously, we got to make sure that they have the money. You know, this isn't a charity. Like, you're going to rent my mouth. You want to rent my real estate, my channel. That, you know, you got to have the loot. A lot of them don't. So we go back and forth on that. Meanwhile, I'll hand that off to Meredith mostly. Sometimes I have to step in, but I like to let her... I'll be bad cop occasionally. But the main thing is that I want to see... Well, first off, the first rule is this bullshit? Do I approve of this entire business model? There are entire product categories that I will not support. I won't do financial services, like loans. I won't do... someone's going to be like, Rocket Money. I like the Rocket Money app. It's just an app that is a budgeting app. I like it actually kind of a lot. So that's not a thing. But I mean, I've told them I won't do your loans. But I won't do loans. I won't do gambling. I won't do hangover cures because they are bullshit. I don't like anything in the health or wellness space. I don't like any of that. I think that is icky. I don't think that's... It's scumbaggery, scammery shit. So you have a bottle that has H on the front. We'll get it to other bottles with a T and D. It's funny. There's actually... This is a great example. There was a potential partnership many, many years ago that wanted to like do a thing where they were laser etching my name, HTD, onto bottles, and they sent me an example, and I still have this stupid bottle of rum. And they were like, you could sell it. And I was like, why? Oh, blah, blah, blah. I was like, yeah, but how much does it cost to laser etch it? This. I was like, so you're telling me how much more money do I have to sell this for? Like, it just seems grifting. Like, grifto, yeah. It seems shitty. Like, multivitamins are multivitamins, Ian. I don't know. I did Ritual for a while. I don't have any problem with multivitamins. Are multivitamins no good? Like, I'm about, like, you know, powdered greens and, like, you know, all that kind of woo-woo shit. Lots of doctors tell people to take a multivitamin, so I'm not opposed to a multivitamin. I feel like that's just sort of like, you know, kids take a Flintstone vitamin, whatever. It's a little different. I did do BetterHelp once, absolutely. After turning them down a couple times, there was a point where I didn't love a lot about BetterHelp. I'll be fully disclosure-y about that. They came back and, you know, it was like that time of year when, like, you know, we had to take another look because financially we had to take another look. And we didn't really see in our searching, like, a lot of stuff that we had an objection to in the commentary around them. And I was like, all right, this time we'll do it. And, of course, it blew up in my face. People were pissed about it. NutriBoom? I don't know. Probably not. So anyway, yeah, my three big no-nos are health and wellness, financial services, and gambling. I don't like any of those. But like, so the main thing is I need to see your talking points. So a lot of times these agencies will come to a YouTuber and they'll hammer out all of the financial stuff and be like, great, we got you. Okay, cool. Here's the creative brief. The creative brief is the thing that explains, like, this is what we expect you to cover. These are the talking points. And usually it's like, you know, here's 10 talking points. We'd love it if you could hit 3 of them, mandatory to hit 2, whatever, you know, try to put it in your own words, yada, yada, all that stuff. Well, that matters. And I need to know that before we sign an agreement. THC episode is still in the works, Phoenix. There was developments there that warranted more footage. So, well, April, I just didn't want to, I don't like putting products out into the universe that are totally exploitive and don't have any reason to exist. I will represent a product if the talking points aren't full of bullshit, and if I feel like the product isn't a bad business model or an exploitive business model. That's complicated because ultimately all products are in some way exploitive. Like that's just the nature of advertising. So, but I think we understand what we mean, right? Like I think that we have to like, or you understand what I mean because I explained it, which is health and wellness, financial services. And I'm sure there's a few others out there. I just haven't, come across them. 2 sponsors that we got in trouble for doing. One was BetterHelp, and I knew better, but we thought, you know what, like it's there's I don't know. We did some search and people are like, I love those comments. It takes so little effort to Google the company, and it's like I did Google the company, and of course there's always people who are unhappy with a product, but like that doesn't mean it's a bad product. Ultimately Meredith and I were like, I don't know, maybe it's helping some people. My initial hatred of it was that it seemed like the reason we turned them down for years is because it seemed like they were not compensating healthcare workers sufficiently. And then we did a lot of searching about it and we saw no more of that. And so we were like, all right, I guess that's been resolved. So there you go. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on, you won't get fooled again, to quote George W. Bush. The other one was we did the tree thing, and this is where the what was it, the established titles, which by the way we never got paid for, so I'm a little pissed about that. Part of that is because I cut the ad out of the episode. We did that. There was a huge backlash. There was that video came out about what a scam this was. I think that guy, he made a real great name for himself by blowing things up a little bit bigger than. He blew that up bigger than it really needed to be. Have you ever made a Mexican firing squad? Nope. 2 ounces. 2 ounces tequila, 3/4 lime. It sounds delicious. I like the sound of that drink a lot. Great. So the reality of that is that, and it occurred to me, I was talking before about how like, look, man, I will hear your words exactly as you are saying them. And that's partially because I'm used to reading creative briefs, and that's partially because I do read contracts and legalese like on a regular basis. That is for a lot of reasons, and I kind of forget that that's like not probably how a lot of other people's brains work. So nothing in the creative brief for established titles jumped out to me as scam. Another YouTuber did an expose on them, proving them to be the biggest scam ever, and I think it was very good for their channel, and I don't begrudge them that at all. Thank you very much, Summer. I really appreciate that. But like, there was nothing in the brief that was a scam. It was all very honest, honestly. It was pleasantly presented. I cut, because YouTube, we can cut a chunk out of a video after it's been published. Ultimately, this got so hot, I did actually, it's the only time I've ever done this, cut the ad out of the video, rather than leave it up there. So I can't even prove this, but like, I did not present it in a way that was a scam or misleading at all because I understood the brief and I understood the legalese it was written in, and that's the way I presented it. A lot of other people, according to this guy's video, because I saw the clips of it, not according to it, but like from this video, I saw how other people were presenting it. They're idiots. I am sorry, but like, that was like, guys, that's, I know you're trying to make the client happy. I get that they're taking advantage of your eagerness to find a sponsor here, but oh my God, they need you so much more than you need them. Like, read the brief carefully. They never told us, they told us explicitly, like, this is not a real title. Okay. This is a fun, silly thing. Okay. It's like buying a star. I get it. Okay. The other thing that he was like, they're not even building these forests. It didn't say that though, if you read the brief. It didn't say that. In fact, actually, I sent the brief I got to Legal Eagle because he was asking like, can anybody get a brief? Does anybody have the brief? I would love to see the brief. And I don't know if he used my file, but I did send it to him. It's like, it didn't say that they were building forests in Scotland. If they were building forests in Scotland, they would have said that. They said that the money goes to build forests. Now, if you know anything about what that really means, when every dollar you spend, we're planting a tree, it means they're giving a portion of the proceeds to a forest management what's the word? Forest management, like charity, right? Like, I'm going to give the money to them. They say they're going to plant trees with it. That's what that means. I forget that other people are not that savvy. You don't know that. I'm sorry, but that's what that means. And so, like, it didn't occur to me that, like, there would be confusion around that at all. Have I ever been appeared on other channels? I was on Babish once, and that's about it. So it was, like, shocking to me that people thought it was a scam. The thing that I did not know, and I could not have known at that time, was that it is a practice that the country of Scotland abhors, this selling of, like, micro squares of land in, you know, as, like, I forget the term for it, but, like, there's a name for it, the practice, and they abhor it. And so for that, I was like, oh, okay, fine, we got to pull this thing. I didn't know that. So I did never do honey. I would never do honey. And I got to point out, too, I pushed back a lot of people involved with the show are like, why not? why are you saying no to that money, Greg? I was like, because I don't want to do honey. It's bullshit. I like honey. I was like, you shouldn't. So I didn't know that. And so that was the one thing where I was like, but the rest of it, I was like, if you are duped by, like, first off, you couldn't be duped by what I said, because I played it as, like, that's the thing is, like, so I say I have to receive the brief. I have to see what they want me to say. Do they want me to say that this is a product that I think is the greatest product in the world? Or do they want me to say that this is a product that I think exists and that might be good for you? Because those are two different things. There's plenty, I can advertise for a lot of things that are not a good fit for me, but there's nothing wrong with it if it's a good fit for you. And it's not exploitive, and it's not a destructive product, any more so than any other product, whatever. And I don't feel bad about that, right? Like, I hope that I am not, unless I explicitly tell you, I love this product and I am using it, don't assume that I'm using the product other than beyond the testing, you know what I mean? Do Raid. Raid will, I did one time, I chased down Raid, and I was like, what do you got? How much? Like, well, we can give you $250 plus a bunch of in-game loot. And I was like, oh, no thank you. And then they said, well, how much would it cost? And because I was so tired of getting Raid emails, and I gave them a number that was insane. And it was a number where I was like, listen, man, if you come up with, and I think it was literally $150,000, which, by the way, I would point out, that's like more money than the show makes. So I was like $150,000, and they were like $150,000. Like, yeah, you got 150 grand. I'll advertise for Raid all fucking day long. Why? I was like, because it's going to do damage to my channel. And I've told sponsors that too. I was like, why is your rate so high for this? Because I'm going to take a hit. If I put this commercial into my show, it will take my show months to recover. So you got to pay for that. Yeah, anyway. So then they literally replied with a smiley face, like, because the agency gets it, you know? The agency doesn't work for, they're not working at Raid. They're an agency that Raid hired. They're like, all right, yeah, fair enough. Got you, buddy. No worries. We'll leave you alone. Yeah, so, like, yeah, I think that's the only two that I really regret. Do you have special process for washing the awesome shirts and aprons? Do you iron them? I own one shirt and one apron. And it's funny, every time I put on this shirt and I look at the holes in the collar, I think I really gotta, if they came back with 100K, Steph, I'd be the Raid channel all day long. Yep, Raid Shadow Legends, it's fantastic. $100,000, $100,000. Yeah, no, I have to retire this shirt. This shirt is literally falling off of my body at this point. It was just a flannel shirt that I liked, and I started wearing it for the show, and that was it. And so now it's the only thing it does is be on this show. So it's truly decaying off of my body. I actually wash it as infrequently as I can bear to. I swear the Scottish Lord thing has been, it probably has been around before YouTube. I don't know why people are surprised. Yeah, absolutely. And so, I don't know, like, I feel like you should be able to understand that language. And so that's when we come to, and I'm a little sensitive about this. I am particularly sensitive about hangover cures. I really think that is, I hate that as a product. It is such snake oil bullshit. And I don't want to talk about this too much, but I have to, because I know that there are other really cool guys who are, I gotta make that money. Like, this is a job. who are taking that money, and that's okay. I'm not upset about that. But like, this is where I talk about like reading the brief. If you read the brief, like a lawyer, blanky blank is formulated to prevent hangovers. Formulated to prevent hangovers. Not proven to prevent hangovers. Not does prevent hangovers. You know what? There might have been an Odyx in the name of this particular brand, Caitlin. Formulated to prevent hangovers. Not clinically proven to prevent hangovers, but clinically studied, period. Not clinically studied and proven to prevent hangovers. Do you see what I'm saying here? I can formulate, I know, Garrett Graith, that IV drips do not cure hangovers because I've actually seen studies on that one because I was just researching this. They don't. If you think that they do and they make you feel better, that's fantastic. But they don't, like from a science perspective. And so like, yeah, man, I could formulate a lot of things, do a lot of things. I can formulate a flux capacitor to go back in time. I did that. I formulated it to do that. Would you like to buy a flux capacitor? This flux capacitor was formulated to take you back in time. That doesn't answer the question. Does it take you back in time? Does it? That's a different statement that was not included in my statement. That is how copy is written. I'm never going to lie to you. No ad agency worth its salt is going to lie to you, okay? They're going to be very careful about the way that they don't lie to you. They don't. And you have to hear that. You have to hear what they don't say. I don't know why. It's funny, I took a class called media criticism, and this is actually the thing I object to too. I hate it. It's just a pet peeve of mine when people say, so-and-so doesn't have media criticism because they don't know that The Boys is about the evils of blah, blah, blah. And it's like, that's not media criticism. Media criticism isn't about understanding fiction. You're just talking about literacy. You're talking about functional literacy. Media criticism is understanding the news, the media. And so I had a whole class where all we did was like, okay, class, this is a college class. Today we're going to watch an hour of pre-recorded cable news television. I want you to write down every citation you hear, and I want you to note how many minutes of it is opinion and how many minutes of it is actual news. I'll be back in an hour. And if bonus points if you can tell who paid for this and that. And like that was what the class was. And it was fucking legit. I loved it. It was so good. And it did change the way I saw the world. And it's amazing how they can do it. Back then, Fox News, and I don't give a shit, I'm just gonna say it was Fox News. They had Shepard Smith. And what you found out was, oh, Shepard Smith is the sole non-editorial guy on the channel. Everything else is an opinion piece. They, for about 7 minutes an hour, they would have a guy come on and tell you actual news. These are facts. These are things that have happened. Everything else was opinion. But they didn't like, there's no indicator. You just have to know that. You just have to know that. You have to be faster than that. You have to be quicker than that. You have to know, you have to hear when something is an opinion, even if the person who's giving you that opinion doesn't know it's an opinion. Even when that person doesn't know that they're sharing an opinion, they think they're sharing facts. You have to know it's an opinion. And that's how you have to read a creative brief and how you have to hear an advertisement and all of those things. Thank you, Daniel, so much. I really appreciate that. That is, try again. I don't get that. I don't know what that is about. Daniel, that's a really weird message. What does that mean? Mr. Saturn asked me something that I missed, and I'm so sorry. Shepard Smith would cite the editorial people. That may be the case. Yeah, that's a secondary factor. They fired him anyway for actually trying to like have a spine. So, I mean, I give Shepard Smith a lot of credit for doing his best with a shit sandwich. Sorry, I missed some stuff here. Mexican Firing Squad. Thank you, Summer. Thank you, Mr. Saturn. How would you go about attempting a non-alcoholic mocktail using a last word formula? I had a dream a while back while that I couldn't figure out. Ooh, that's tricky. So the problem is that you need spirits. You need gin. The problem with artificial gin, with non-alcoholic gin, is the problem with non-alcoholic gin is that we were talking about terpenes earlier in this live stream. Terpenes are not water soluble. They are only soluble in ethanol. Well, a huge portion of what makes gin taste like gin, I would say even 99% of it probably, is terpenes. You can't put those flavors. You can't take the flavors that make gin taste like gin and put them into something that's based on water ever. You cannot do it. No, maybe somewhere in like a laboratory, somebody could whip up, I mean, they haven't invented it yet, because if they did, they'd be worth money. But someday somebody might invent a water-soluble compound that replicates the flavors of D-limonene and D-pinene or alpha-pinene, these different terpenes that won't go into water. And so it doesn't work. You can't do it. I would encourage you not to make a non-alcoholic last word. But if I had to make a non-alcoholic last word, this might be what I would do. I might make an extract of, and this is something I'm going to try, I might make an extract of juniper and lemon and orange peels and maybe pinene. Glycerin doesn't work. Glycerin might work. I haven't looked into that too much. It's a fair point. I haven't looked into glycerin too much because I'm not a fan. But you might be able to make like a bitters that is potent enough in flavor that when you put a dash or two of that into, it's alcoholic bitters, but when you put a dash or two of that into a beverage, it's not going to bump us up over 0.5% ABV, and it will present enough of those gin flavors to work. That's something I'm going to play with. It would only, you can't bottle it. It would only be serviceable like at a point of service thing, because it will eventually like fall out of solution and stuff. Gregory is in progress. I'm still working on it. It's taking so much longer, and unfortunately, to make it happen, I need to have more runway. I can't work on that until I have runway of other episodes. It's killing me. I think I've narrowed it down to the missing ingredient, but I can't find it. I can't find a supplier for it. If doing bitters like near beer and last word, could name it a close talker. Oh, I like that. I like that. A close talker. That's really good. That's a good name, Michael. So that's my answer on the last word thing. I hope that I didn't miss your message. I wasn't too late. I don't know why Daniel Sapp told me to try again, but okay. What drink have you tuned in so perfectly you won't order at a bar? I don't order any classic at a bar unless I'm at a bar I know very well. I will order their specialty drinks on the menu if they sound interesting and I feel like trying them. Just want to see for inspiration. But I don't drink when I'm out pretty much. Could you do something super bitter and spicy, like a gentian and ginger combo? You can do that, but I don't think it's gonna taste like gin. You were working where your favorite gins are gonna make gin. Blah, blah, blah. Ford's gin is American made, and if you're in America, you can get Ford's gin tariff-free. Oh, that's not true though. Ford's gin has to come across the pond. That's a good question. I don't know. I'd like to do another mailbag episode. I should do that, but I don't know. It didn't really perform that well. I guess I could, yeah. You could call it a running argument. What am I gonna do a whole episode on Stro? What is that? What is that? Any ingredients you wish the U.S. didn't ban? I've heard my friend go on at length. Tonka beans are great, but I think they probably should be banned. I don't think they're I think that there's some real health risks with Tonka beans. Just like sassafras, there is actually some real health risks there, so. Beef stroganoff. I can go for some beef stroganoff. I think we have company. I think my doorbell just told me that a guest came over that I have not seen in years, and I really have to go if that's the case. I'm gonna ask my wife. Maybe another 10 minutes or something like that. I learned that halal is stricter about ABV than the legal definition of non-alcoholic. I can't help you. I agree. And I have to tell you, your religion should help you live, not tell you how to live. Your religion, if you should choose to have one, should help you live, not tell you how to live. I'm very suspicious of all of the costume religions. The religions that tell you how to dress, particularly to tell you how your women how to dress. I'm including everybody in that. There's 3 that come to mind. I love and regularly watch your videos, but your new videos hardly ever show up on my YouTube homepage. Do you know why? God hates me. I don't know. I don't know. So I don't know if you have, I don't know. Dang, Zoroastrians. Yeah, I gotta tell you, I don't know much about the Zoroastrians. They have a costume? I don't know. I gotta say, like, if a 0.5% alcohol isn't non-alcoholic enough for you, I hope you don't enjoy leavened bread. You know? I mean, there's yeast in there making alcohol. I hope you don't. All praise Bob Dobbs. Yes, give me slack. More Archer cocktails. I think it's passe, man. I think the millennials have grown up and had kids, and I don't think anybody's watching Archer anymore except for you. I made thoughts on tap cocktails when kegging or batching. I have a plan to work on something for that. I haven't played with that yet. I actually have a little mini keg and a whole setup just for it that I haven't even touched. I'm sorry. Some things, it's like, this is what I talked about in my most recent episode that 0 people watched. I think not because of this, but because it was about a pina colada and people weren't interested. If you haven't seen my pina colada episode, please do. I'm very proud of that episode. It was a quick one that I pulled off, but I actually loved that episode. I want to do more episodes like that. But anyway, 12 people watched that episode. Thank you to those of you who did. The recent pina colada episode. It's actually now, I think, called The Secret to Mind Control. I have not seen the Fallout Season 2 trailer. Jesus Christ. Let me try to keep up with this. It's really hard for me to do bigger episodes, like batching cocktails and stuff like that, because every single week I have to put out an episode or I lose 25% of the money that makes it possible for me to pay my mortgage and to feed my children. So, like, it's very hard to be like, well, this episode's going to take 4 weeks to shoot. Fuck. You know? And that's actually kind of the trouble I'm in right now, because I have 3 episodes in shooting that are taking many weeks to shoot. It sucks. So, have I looked into joining Nebula? I think you have to be invited. Do people like it? I don't know. I always feel weird, and of course now I'm leaning into Patreon. I feel weird about taking my show that's free and putting it behind Nebula. At Patreon, it's a different set of things, so that's cool to me. And in fact, I must now plug the app again. The app is so important. Guys, if you're not, how many people are watching? Are more people watching? Guys, the money. We got to talk about that. I don't know how many people are watching. I can't even tell. Hang on. This is a terrible transition. Okay, 550 people. That's great. Hi, 550 people. Welcome to the show. Yeah, like, by the way, anybody who like pretends like, oops, didn't mean to upload, like accidentally got on YouTube. There's nothing accidental about this. I have a dangerously large ego and a huge hole in my pocket. and I'm doing this to stay alive. There's nothing accidental, okay? Okay, episodes that are in shooting currently have piles of footage, but taking longer than I wanted. THC cocktails, Gregory, which is my own resurrection of the soft drink called Beverly, preserved cocktail cherries, which, by the way, these are probably mostly my favorite incarnation of. But the only reason this episode is taking so long is because cherries are out of season, and the grocery store told me I cannot get more until probably August. And I thought about just being like, well, my experiments show this, and based on that, this is what I'll do next time I can get fresh cherries. But that's a terrible conclusion for an episode. But look at those. Do those not look great? Here, let's do this in my little close-up here. Oh, that's weird, but I guess you can see. Do you see that? Look at that little sucker. That's great. It is fucking delicious, too. I went through a lot of batches of cherries to figure that out. Okay. What is tank drink? Anyway. But I want to be able to show you, like, another batch of them, because that's the first So with the cherries, like that's like, I did 4 experiments at the same time, and that's like experiment number 4, which I actually didn't think was going to work, but it actually worked out the best. And so I have to replicate that because I believe in science. I have to replicate that, and I can't until I have more cherries. I have tried to replicate it with frozen cherries and canned cherries. It does not work. They got to be fresh. They suck. So the cherries is on the way. The THC beverages is on the way. The 2 things holding me back on that are, 1, I need to sit down with the footage and know what I have to shoot in order, Picard, by the way, know what I have to shoot in order to do that episode, to finish it. And 2, I have to be ready to be fucking high. Because I'm going to make a few non-alcoholic cocktails. And frankly, I'm not ready to shoot that episode until my wife's ready to be off camera enjoying with me. Because I think that the one thing I do not want to do is be in that position alone. I think that would be unfair to her. I think that would be a night that I'd pay for a long time. I'm not doing any more Fallout rants. I don't care. I like the show. I think the show is great. So yeah, there's like that's a hold up there. The cherries, and then Beverly Gregory, which is just taking me forever to figure out. So, other episodes that are in the works. Let's talk about it. I actually today just solved how much THC are you putting into those cocktails. Well, 100 microliters of this would be is 1.6 milligrams of THC. 100 microliters is like the minimum level that you can taste it at, and I feel like that's what makes it a beverage. Our guest is not here yet. But 100 microliters times 3 is gonna fuck me up. It'll be the only video for that day. Yeah, especially because like I can't mix the two at all. I think it might have something to do with my epilepsy or possibly my epilepsy medication. But like if I have alcohol and THC, like even a little, yeah, I can't do 5 milligrams in a drink. Oh my God, fuck no. I mean, maybe in one drink and then that's it for the night, but I will be in another dimension. Isn't that a normal level? I don't know what normal is. I know what I can handle. Lamictal, yeah. It's funny, Noodle, my neurologist, I was like, hey man, I drink for a living. Is that gonna be okay? He's like, it's fine. There's no negative side effects. You won't be able to drink much because you will be fucking drunk. So I was a lightweight before. Now I'm like, whoa, am I a lightweight? So, but if I combine the two, like even just a tiny teensy little bit, no, THC cannot only help you. That's not true at all. I can elaborate on that, Dre. It might be for some seizures. I don't have those kinds of seizures though. But I start time traveling really bad. And actually one of my epilepsy symptoms, which is jamais vu, becomes unbearably. It can really go through the fucking roof. Yeah, 1 milligram per drink. Yeah, and I'll have 3 1 milligram drinks in a night, and I am done. I'm done. That's enough. So, what's wrong? So, according to my neurologist, THC is fine with my epilepsy, but it should be done 1-to-1. Like, it should have a ratio of CBD that's 1-to-1, or at the very least, not be devoid of CBD, because in the absence of CBD, the threshold for epileptic event will come down. Terpenes do not contain THC. Terpenes are an entire class of insoluble flavonoids that provide flavor to a lot of things. Anyway. Oh, doctor said there'd be no weed interaction. Negative interactions, no dangerous interactions. He said that you're going to be extremely high instead of regular high, and you're going to be extremely drunk instead of regular drunk. But he said health-wise, it's not going to be a problem. So. I think he basically said, like, you're going to be a cheap date. So, I mean, that's fine. I don't know. It's hard. It makes the job a lot harder. I'm not going to lie. But, okay. So, things that I'm working on. I finally had a breakthrough on the research. I want to do an episode. I've wanted to do this for so long on the most popular cocktail of Prohibition. not the most popular cocktail from Prohibition, the most popular cocktails of Prohibition. And that is a totally different question, because the most popular cocktail from Prohibition is a last word and a bee's knees, probably. The most popular cocktails during Prohibition is an entirely different question. Coca wine. Yeah, Coca wine might be, barring Coca wine. Forget Coca wine. Barring Coca wine. Oh, the coffee spirit. It's St. George Nola coffee liqueur. And I can just show it to you right here. That's all it is. It's a 25% coffee liqueur. So, and the way I did that was, right, like, how do you do that research? Because, and this is what we talk about when we talk about knowing things. How do you know a thing? I'm going to tell you exactly how I know that, and I'm going to put it in the episode too. Because you can Google all you want, most popular cocktail of Prohibition. You're going to find blog after blog after blog naming the same 10 drinks. And they're all referencing each other. All of them need that a version of that blog post, and they did the same thing. They Googled most popular cocktail of Prohibition. Okay, bees knees. I'll put those same things in here, I'll reword it, right? None of them have citations. How do you cite that? Well, you have to come up with a way to do the study. This is what I came up with. I found cocktail books. I have 55, which is quite a few actually, cocktail books digitized from a few years before Prohibition till a few years after Prohibition, including cocktail books from overseas where American bartenders went and plied their trade, all the way through Prohibition. And I ingested them digitally, and then I plotted which drinks show up the most. And I figure whatever people were writing about the most, that's probably the most popular cocktails. And I sorted them, the top 50, I listed them. So is that a guarantee that is the most popular cocktails during Prohibition? No, but that is my methodology, and you are free to object to my methodology, but I feel like that's a pretty good methodology. I don't know if you can do much better than that. It's not like speakeasies were keeping receipts, but that's that's a hard question to answer. What were speakeasies actually serving the most of? The answer won't surprise you. The top 8 drinks are the ones that you would expect, but it does get interesting after that. And so we're gonna talk about that in that episode. I'm very excited about that. But that process that worked I've had an industry sour sour. I love them. The fact that worked means I can now do other drinks. I can do the best cocktails of the Depression, which are kind of the Prohibition, same thing. Best cocktails of World War II, the most popular cocktails of World War II, most popular cocktails of World War I, most popular cocktails of the Gilded Age, most popular cocktails of the whatever, because that's at least a methodology to hang your hat on. So we can repeat that, which is really exciting. I'm very pumped about that. I'm working on an episode about my suspicion of being in groups. I'm a little bit like, Meredith and I talked about that on the podcast. Please listen to Midnight Local. We just recorded 2 new episodes today where we went way off the rails. It's a movie podcast. You can find it on YouTube. You can find it anywhere you find your podcasts. But in a recent episode, we talked about finding your tribe. I was talking about how I don't really go in much for generational warfare, but I do think that there's differences between generational cohorts and the times in which they exist. And I do think I'd read something, it was just a blog post, but I was like, shit, that resonates. And it was about, oh, thank you for loving the Idiocracy video. Some people are pissed about it. And it was like a thing about how Gen X is very anti-group. They were raised to kind of be self-assured and not care what other people think about them. But if you look at the millennials, for the most part, advertising that was catering to millennials when millennials were coming of age was all about finding your tribe. I mean, I literally can show you the white sheets put out by Nielsen about this. People want to find their tribe. They want to be in a community that understands them. They want to be accepted by a community. They want to find a circle of friends. They want to be in a tribe. And I was like, isn't that interesting? And that's different. And I think that's true, though. I think that's really true. Meredith's a little bit younger than me, and I'm a little bit older than I am because I grew up kind of poor. My wife is 2 years younger than me, and she is very much, it's crazy how different that is, because she was people had cell phones in high school. And I was like, what are you talking about? I went to the same high school as you. nobody had cell phones. And, you know, she's talking about after I left, but I was like, what a crazy difference. Like, I didn't have the fucking internet growing up. I mean, I had to go to other people's houses to have the internet, but like, yeah, like time unfolds differently for different socioeconomic classes. And like, I'm a way more Gen X than I am a millennial, even though I'm on the cusp there. I'm what do you call it? Gen Y or whatever. And so I think that's really interesting. But like, it's also true that like, yeah, I don't need a tribe. I don't need a tribe. I don't. And as soon as I read that about Gen X versus the millennials and other groups and stuff like that, I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. And I'm very suspicious of being in a tribe or tribalism and so far, which doesn't make me a loner. Like I have a really close-knit group of friends, but like I have never gone along with what the group was going for. Like I've never been convinced to do something. I've never been swayed. You know what I mean? Like I'm just not, I'll just leave. I don't need friends that much. I just don't. I just lost the lemon. Whereas Meredith was like, oh my God, no, like all of my strength came from finding like a like-minded group of people. And part of that is the fact that she was like a young gay lady in the theater thing. And I was like a straight fucking self-assured white guy. Like there's a big difference there. Of course. I didn't need anybody well, I want to say that I didn't need anybody to tell me I was okay, but like I was one of the least popular kids around. So maybe it would have been nice if somebody told me I was okay. From North Jersey, after 9/11, parents didn't let kids go to school without a cell phone. See, that could be it, Audrey, because I graduated before 9/11. That could be true. Well, you know, Greg builds and fosters a great tribe. That's very nice to hear. Thank you so much. I hope you are all individuals capable of making your own decisions. Greg, I'm not really into tribes. A clique is what tribe means, Zento in this case. So I want to do an episode on that, and I was like, I need a drink to put with this rant, yada yada. I don't know what it should be. I need like the most conformist drink. I need the most, like the committee drink. And none of the people who are in my Patreon exclusive Discord, I don't think they know what they're working on, but right now they are feverishly working on building a drink by committee for that episode. The idea of a tribe sounds so cringe, it makes your skin crawl. Yeah, man. Absolutely. So we're doing drink by committee, which I think is hilarious. But like, I don't know, man, you worry if you're being swayed. But like the social media is entirely about sticking you into, you know, they call it siloing, but it's the same idea. It's about sticking you into a clique and like, I don't know, man, it just seems unsafe. It seems like a bad idea. By the way, if you've noticed, I'm finishing this. This is super fucking good. I all harbor a hatred akin to an elder child who feels they did all the work and got none of the recognition. Gen X all harbor a hatred. That's interesting. I don't know about that. Maybe. I don't know. I guess I do have like a bitterness and a chip on my shoulder and like a real like, you know, slacker aesthetic. Like, man, I'm real cynical. It's all bullshit. But I'm an optimist as well. So there's tribe and there's community. So like I always see Rachel Storm. I don't think there's a difference in the way that the internet means it. Like when community to me, like I go to my school board meetings. I vote for local politics. I participate. Like the minute you've got a group that has a very high level of expectations, I think you might be in a cult. I think it might be a little bit of a cult. I have yet to meet a non-hierarchical, self-organizing, no leader-based group that didn't have a leader. I've never seen a group of 20 people who didn't know who the coolest person in the room was. And it's usually not me, or at least it didn't used to be. And that always put me off. It always pissed me off. When I was young, when I was in high school, and we were hanging out with like, you know, all of a sudden there's 15 of us hanging around. That guy's a lot cooler. And a lot of girls are looking at him. You know, it rankle me. I'm like, hey, Why are we doing what he says? Oh, Greg, we're not doing what he says. We're not going where he wants. We're not doing whatever he wants. It's just like, it's just like a cool idea. I don't think that's what it is. I think he's cooler than all of us, and I don't like it. Thank you very much, Daniel Sapp. Just say, hey, me, Michigan. I don't know if, whatever. So yeah, I got that bitterness about me. Boom Echo Generation until that dumb marketing book got published. I don't know what the hell that means. Greg the Anarchist. Yeah, I don't know. I hate when people aren't independent free thinkers. I guess. I don't know. Do you think it's with the American education system? Because from how little I know, your system seems to be designed to create these clubs. No, I don't think so at all. But I mean, Sulfur, to that point, what I remember about growing up in the late 80s and early 90s, I mean, Marathon, I talked about this on the pod, like we had after school specials. We had in-school assemblies and literally puppet shows, and like actors would come, and there were PSAs, and there was so much messaging driven at us. We were raised with a message of, hey, you don't need anybody to affirm you. You can affirm yourself. You don't need to worry what other people think about you. You are you, you are enough, you're fine, okay? Anybody who is trying to tell you that you need their affirmation is trying to control you, okay? Okay. Don't be controlled. And like with sayings like, if your friends were out jumping off of a bridge, would you jump off of the bridge too? Like that's what we were raised with. And I think it's stuck. So I think if anything, at least my generation was raised to be very suspicious of groupthink and to like get icked out by it. Peer pressure. Do they still talk about peer pressure? All we heard about when we were growing up was peer pressure, which I think was for my betterment, but came from Nancy Reagan's Just Say No world, which the world is full of nuance. What can I tell you? The world is full of nuance. It's not that simple. Peer pressure and stranger danger. Yeah, exactly. It's called TikTok challenges. Yes, you nailed it. TikTok challenges are peer pressure. Thank you very much. So that line of thinking also kind of led Gen Z's towards MAGA. I don't think Gen X is turned towards MAGA. Plop top. You got to watch about Gen Z's turn towards MAGA. Okay, that's not what it was. That's just white people getting older. Some of them are going to peel off and turn Republican. I don't know. That's just what's going to happen. The problem is Gen Z's turn towards MAGA. That's the problem. With the rise of homeschooling, generational molding like that is much more difficult to do by the school system. I agree with that. I'm an introvert, so I avoid large groups. Yeah. I'm going to be going back to school at 28. Not old, but being surrounded by teens is going to be weird. I went to college late, too. I was 22 or 23 when I went back to school for college. And one, makes you cool. You can buy the beer. I shouldn't have said that. Two, it is weird. Like, you're going to be much more serious about your studies than the kids are because they're on a continuation of high school, and you are like, I'm here on a mission. I am here on a mission, and I get this. But like, yeah, I don't, nah, I'm Gen Z. Don't associate MAGA with us, please. Lamau. Well, I mean, the half of you who are voting age, like your boys, your Gen Z boys, they went pretty MAGA-y. Like that was like a deciding factor, I think, in the election. I don't want to throw that on you, but it's an interesting phenomenon that bears studying. I heard a really good, man, we're way off my rails because I was supposed to come up here and plug my app. Let me do that. Let me plug my app. I have to plug my app. It's the law. It's the law. We must plug the app or bad things happen. Why is it like that right now? That doesn't make any sense. Pip 1 in. What? Pip 1 out. What the hell? Something is funny here with my A10 Mini. You know that? So give me a second. This is going to be an ugly transition, but like whatever. We've already done this. We've already had the ugly transition. Where is... Oh, that's weird. Oh, okay. Now it's working. Oh, so there's like literally glitches in this thing. That's what it is. Okay. So check this out, guys. This is in testing. This is not public for patrons yet, but the HTD app, I have to re-log in testing. Check this shit out. We're going to put in my coffee liqueur, my rye, my absinthe, a lemon, and a lime, and some chocolate bitters. All of these things will be pretty recognizable to it. We'll give this a try. Log in with Patreon, allow. Some of you missed this before. Let's get the focus right. Okay, you can see the focus. This is in the testing version of the server, of the app, not in the public version. I hope to have this public for public testing in a week. I need like a month or two to make sure I can actually leave it public. It may not work out that way, but this is the kind of stuff I'm working on with the HTD app. We hit camera. We're gonna take a picture of my ingredients. Look, you can see the picture of my ingredients. We're gonna use that photo. Let's see what it says. With rye whiskey, coffee liqueur, absinthe, cocoa bitters, and citrus, you could make some interesting cocktails. So at the moment, because this is the data set that is for testing, it's a subset of the server, nothing is coming up. But it's also possible that nothing is coming up because I don't have any drinks that use exactly those ingredients in the app. But it's identifying, we're identifying, you can use your camera, point it at a set of ingredients, and then it'll tell you what you can make with those ingredients. That's what I'm working on. Give me a week. In a week, I'll have it, 2 weeks tops. I will have that in the patrons' hands for testing. The app is the thing that makes it, I don't know, enjoyable to use my show as your personal cocktail guide, because going to YouTube and looking up stuff is a huge pain in the ass. If you love this show, if you want me to continue to be able to keep making this show, text recognition? No, I mean, it is AI backed. Like that's reality. If that upsets you, I'm so sorry to tell you this, but genies very seldom get back into bottles. It's just the way it is. You can move with the future or be not. I don't know. I'm sorry. Apparently I'm just one Dumond in, and I'm telling the truth. Oh, I missed Jack's superset question. I want to get on that. But like, that's what they said about NFTs. Yeah, except nobody bought nuclear power plants to build NFTs. Oh man, I'm going through chemotherapy. Okay, by the end of dry, I can't drink, but I love an old fashioned. Can you make a killer one for me? I can't, Jack. Oh, I want to. All right, let's do that. I'll make it and I'll have one sip, but I cannot down it. Let me finish this up. If you love this show, Jack, I'll make it. I'm gonna make it for you. I can't finish it. I can't drink it. I'll have a sip. We'll do a toast. But if and by the way, lots of love, man. I know you're gonna make it. Your chemo is going great. There's AI slop and real machine learning. I feel like this is genuine usage, Zen, but whatever. People are going to be pissed about it anyway. So, sorry. If you love this show and you want to see it be able to continue, I have to tell you this, and I don't want to sound like I'm complaining. I'm not griping. I live a blessed magic life. I can't complain. Listen, I have temporal lobe epilepsy and I'm on medicine for it, and I have difficulty with derealization already, and my life is so fucking good, it doesn't help, okay? I have some real dream reality confusion. I have some real derealization around it. That's how great things are. However, the finances of existing on YouTube are untenable. That's just the reality of it. It's not YouTube's fault. It's not YouTube's fault. My viewership has just declined and the value of a view has declined. YouTube is not ripping us off. People keep hearing me say that, and it's like, no, man, it's really not. It's the fact that shorts are eating into long form content, and like we're still on the same revenue sharing plane we've always been on with YouTube. It's just that there's less revenue to share. TLG Productions, you're in college, your fellow students are using AI, you're boycotting it, you're in there to learn, not to take shortcuts. I don't disagree with you, but what you should be in college learning right at this particular moment, in addition to your other studies, is how to use AI in your career, because if you don't, you will not have a career. I beg you, I am grabbing you by the collar through this. Learn it. If they outlaw it, if they regulate it out of existence, fine. You'll still have learned everything you learned, but at the very minimum, understand it and learn to use it. Okay? So that's it. It's not Mr. Beast. It's not Mr. Beast. I don't think it's Mr. Beast either. I don't think it's that. Okay, Ruby, that's fine. It doesn't matter if it makes it more difficult or wastes too much time. People who don't use it will be replaced. I'm sorry. It doesn't matter. That's just reality. So if you can wait 40 years for things to turn back around and for everybody to prove you're right, and then you can start working again and making a living, power to you. The rest of us have to make a living. It is terrible for the environment. That's why we need fusion. We need fusion immediately. And I think actually fusion is on the way. So, stop, guys. If you love the show and you want it to continue, please use the link in the description below. Go to htdapp.com, go to my Patreon, see if there's anything there that would make it worth your while. If you love the show, like, oh, that's an extra that I really would like to have. I hope there is. If there's not something there that you want but you wish was there, let me know what it is, because I would like to know what it was, and if I can possibly facilitate that, I will. What I will say is that Patreon has been the most liberating thing in my life because it has set me free. Not yet, but we're on our way there. From the shackles of chasing viral clicks. And I think that's it's great because I can kind of like make more stuff now. So, all right, let's make a killer old fashioned. I got to rinse out this glass because I'm going to build it in this glass because I don't have enough glass I want to build a drink in. For the man who wants a killer old fashioned, would you accept a improved whiskey cocktail? Because that to me is like the better, that's like the better version of an old fashioned. Or do you want like a traditional old fashioned? Jack, this is your old fashioned. Tell me how you want it, man. Evolution's inevitable, but in certification, it doesn't have to be. I agree with that statement, 100%. I just also refuse to be left behind. I can't afford to be. I have mouths to feed. GH Productions, rattle the can against the bars a bit more. Just kidding, man. Love your stuff, and I hope to see you for years to come. Thank you so much, by the way. You've made my bartending for my Navy buddies much more interesting. Go HTD. Thank you, and your Navy buddies, GH Productions. I don't know your political permutations, but I sure hope we can get somebody who cares more about operational security in there in the future. Go Army, laugh my ass off. Yes, also that. Raise a glass to the Navy. Why not? All right, Jack, where's Jack? Jack in the Army, my high-speed, airborne guy apparently. What do you want in your old-fashioned? We can't swim in the Army. He wants a coffee old-fashioned. No, he wasn't. We just had a coffee old-fashioned. He wants an old-fashioned. He said a great old-fashioned. I would love an old-fashioned. Can you make a killer one for me? What about Space Force? What? What did I do, Apollo? Oh, no. Oh, no. The airport departure. What could I have possibly said? Oh, okay, operational security. Yeah, I guess that's a political issue now. Whatever. I can't. Sorry, I can't be bothered with children. I'm sorry. I got no time for that shit. I'm sorry. There's usually more than one. Pajamas. All right. Hey, man, the emails are no joke, Stephen. Okay? We can throw that around in a quote as we want, but we got to own what we own. There was, I mean, I'm just finding out about this now, a huge fucking cover-up about the condition that Biden was in. That fucking blows, okay? That blows. That has done, I believe, damage to the Democratic Party that will be with us for generations and we will maybe never overcome. I am fucking livid about that in a way that I'm not comfortable expressing on the internet. So, I mean, like, we can't just, we can, no, not really, Ben, honestly. I mean, I could after the first debate, but I really couldn't because you know why? Because stuttering can be like that, actually. And like, fair enough, GH, yeah. I hear that. I think that, what's it called? Aging and a combination of aging and stuttering can look a lot like that. So like I was willing to give the benefit of the doubt there. But after that first debate, like, oh my God, no, it's insane, absolutely insane. It's not overalls, baby. It's an apron. So like we got to own our own fucking mistakes. They're all elephants and donkeys, just a bunch of rats. Yeah. Fair enough. All right, we're gonna make a killer old fashioned. Fine, I'm gonna make an old fashioned with my absolute favorite whiskey. Old Fitzgerald, bottled in bond, 15 years old. Let's get the proper close-up going here. But like the proper one. This is an important one. This is a big deal. We got to do this right. Okay. Fitzgerald is a bourbon or rye, but this one's a bourbon. Says it right there. Bottled in bond, 15-year bourbon. It's right there. Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. It says it. All right. Let's get ourselves an ice cube. Let's do 1 or 2 bar spoons of simple. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Nah, I don't like the sugar cube, honestly. I think the sugar cube Big Elk is bullshit. Bourbon country, I don't like that. Okay, so like, yeah, like people are weird about where bourbon comes from. The law says it comes from America. What's up? I know, I'm wrapping up.
Somebody's here.
I know somebody's here. I'm just wrapping it up, guys. Wrapping it up. I'm going to be done in a minute. I do have to be done in a minute. Let's hit that with some Ango. 1, 2, 3 dashes of Angostura. Let's do... Why are you so tight today? You're making me look like a wuss. 2 ounces of this priceless whiskey. This wasn't cheap. Any plans to revisit caffeinated cocktails? Not really. I mean, I don't have any plans to. Should I? Give that a stir. Now, because I'm going to garnish this with a lemon, I'm going to throw in just a bar spoon of maraschino. Oh, thank you, Ethel, so much. First-time caller, your passion for mixing drinks. It's made movie night hosting so much more fun. That does sound great. I love a good drink in a movie. What's your favorite movie night drink? So now we're into the realm of an improved whiskey cocktail. Thank you, Big Elk. I don't know how people do it unless they're drinking it strictly for a feeling. I don't know, alcohol and caffeine. I don't feel like caffeine affects me quite that much. It's 10 per year. Should have cost 150. I bought this primary market. This is an allocated bottle. The old Fitzgerald bottled in bond 15 year. And it was like $750 at the liquor store I bought it at, and so it was not secondary market. I'm sure in the, you know, on paper it should have been cheaper. I would love to do a collab with Nile Red. Oh, and this lemon is perfect, actually. It's just the right. Bourbon fanciers, who often claim the title of American Spirit, drink one of the most regulated spirits known. Rum embodies America's laissez-faire attitude. Agree or no? Oh, that's a crazy idea, GH. I think that's a really interesting idea. Bourbon is super regulated, but less regulated than some people think. Some people think it has to come from Bourbon County, Kentucky or something like that. It just has to come from America. It has to be, I forget the range, it has to be distilled to some specific range of proof. Not too high, not too low, and it has to be 51% corn. That's it. Here we are. This is to you, Jack. Oh! Ah. Mentally, I wasn't prepared for that. Crisp, sweet, juicy, tobacco and corn, a hint of orange and bubblegum, fruit notes there, not too sweet, not too light. I'm used to having these with an orange twist. I have not yet actually made an improved whiskey cocktail with my Old Fitzgerald, so I'm a little thrown by it, to be honest. That is cool. Am I looking forward to the Old Fitz 7? I honestly, I don't chase bottles. I bought some fancy bourbons for a doing. Don't do a thing with Niall. He's gonna make you drink shoes. I'll drink shoes. I don't give a shit. If you can turn shoes into something cool, I'll drink them. But no, there is actually potassium. Yeah, there is. You can't distill it over. I want to look this up now. There is, though, because it would be cheating. That's why, because you water it down to your bottling proof. Bourbon definition. Here it is. Bourbon is a type of American spirit, blah, 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 51% corn, distilled no higher than 160 proof, bottled at a minimum of 80 proof. So it has to go into a bottle at a minimum of 80 proof, but you cannot distill it over 160. Tony Tuto says it's 125, so I might be off on that. But I think 160 does sound correct from my memory. Because otherwise you could make 95 proof, you know, or 95% ethanol. You can, okay, there's an upper limit on bottling at 125. I buy that. Yeah, I buy that. But you can't bottle it below 80. So, but otherwise you could just make, you know, not neutral grain spirits that happen to use corn as their grain to 95% ethanol, and then water and flavor that and age it and have like a much more affordable way to make a huge amount of bourbon. It'd be cheap. Anyway, guys, thank you all so much for hanging out with me. I love you all. You guys make the world go round at How to Drink Town, and I cannot do it without you. I don't know if there's going to be a new episode tomorrow. I know there's not going to be a new episode tomorrow. I may attempt to live stream again tomorrow, but I really need to be filming new episodes. There will be new episodes next week, something from The Witcher maybe. And to those of you who have supported the show, infinite thanks to you. One more time, I must plug, check out the HTD app at htdapp.com. Go to my Patreon if you prefer. Either one will get you to the same place. Take a look around, see if there's anything that would turn your eye and make you feel like supporting the show. Obviously, you love it. You know, if you can't, you can't. That's fine. But if there's something over there, the Discord. We have a private Discord. Blazer Nitrox is in there all the time. A great patron. A lot of people love the Discord. I don't forget about it because I'm in there all the time, but I forget that it's a big selling feature. We have a great Discord community, but it is for patrons. So come on down. Guys, thank you all so much. I will see you next time on another episode of